Is Harry Potter Legacy, Hogwarts Legacy worth the $60 price tag? Avalanche's newest title, open RPG, trying to redeem itself from the unforgivable curse that she who shall not be named has put on this IP. Fucking tragedy, completely honest with you. The big questions remain though. Are they going to be successful doing that? Is it worth that $60 price tag? Stay tuned, let's chat through that, and we'll give you our full pricing review. Alright, let's kick it off with the business model. Warner Brothers acquired Avalanche Games back in 2017, a dev company known for past AAA hits such as Mortal Kombat 3, Prince of Persia, and the Toy Story game. Avalanche had a lot of experience already working with Warner Brothers and other massive IP holders like Disney, so it made a perfect fit for Warner Brothers' collection. Hogwarts Legacy is Avalanche's first game under the Warner Brothers umbrella, and they seem to be doing a much better job with this universe than Warner Brothers did with DC, so thankfully, no fucking Snyder cuts. And speaking of cuts, it's speculated that J.K. Rowling gets around 15% for royalties on this IP, which is standard for these types of deals, but it has a lot of fans upset over the creation and attention Hogwarts Legacy is getting, even though J.K. herself has zero involvement in the game's writing, story, creation, or development, putting undue burden on a team of very talented house elf, developers and creators. Devs, hey, blink twice if you're under the Imperial Curse. Now, as far as the game's pricing at launch, it was a standard $60 for the base game and $70 for the deluxe edition. Folks that ordered the game ahead of launch got the benefit of a unique hyperglyph mount, and those that ordered the deluxe edition got that plus a unique Thestral and the Dark Arts package, which includes unique skins and one of only 3 arenas available in the game. Each of these arenas gives you a unique weapon, only available by completing the arena, so this package clearly has extra to it. Unfortunately, for those that wanted to upgrade beyond the standard edition to deluxe after launch, they're forced to pay a $20 premium instead of the $10 difference between those packages. A pretty clear money grab here from Avalanche. Okay, let's talk about marketing and launch. It had pretty standard marketing for a AAA title with lots of hype from game cons, trailers, industry writers, and of course, early reviewers such as IGN, ACG, and PC Gamer. Now, when it comes to launch, Hogwarts Legacy was originally set to launch in 2021, but with major setbacks, it was pushed to 2023. However, we've all probably reaped the benefits, as in 50 hours of gameplay, we've experienced 0 crashes, something that we believe is the expectation for a game, but it's so rare these days that it actually pleasantly surprised us. And we're really happy they pushed the game back, because if they hadn't, I'm pretty sure this would have been a buggy mess. Now, optimization is lacking a bit on launch on PC. It was a happy surprise that we could run a benchmark test, and the game set us up with its recommended settings, but even those experienced pretty major FPS drops and screen tearing and some graphical bugs on both high-end and low-end PCs. However, shortly after launch, they did have a patch that we'll chat about a bit later that fixed some of this and kind of broke a bit more. All that being said, it was wildly successful launch, and their marketing allowed them to live up to the potential, with 500,000 Steam players playing 72 hours before launch, meaning they had the deluxe edition, and 1.2 million Twitch streamers at launch, shattering all previous game launch records, giving Hogwarts Legacy probably the most successful launch that we've reviewed to date. Alright, let's kick off the data portion of this review. As you can see here, the anticipation for this game was through the roof, with 1.2 million Twitch viewers the night ahead of early release. We then see a pretty drastic decline in viewers up to launch, which is expected, as well as a gradual rise in players. An extremely successful launch by all metrics. Post-launch, we see both Twitch viewership and player base decline at greater rates than industry standard. However, this is likely due to the success of pre-launch stats, as a ton of players and viewers had already had their fill by the end of the first official week, and here's why. Compared to other games in the same genre, while Hogwarts Legacy is jam-packed with detail and content, it still only comes in around 40% of the industry standard for this type of game. Now, that doesn't mean folks weren't satisfied, just that the length pales in comparison to other games like Elden Ring and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is highlighted here as Hogwarts Legacy is still in the number 2 spot over a week after launch. Now, We don't recommend or condone doing this for legal reasons, but if you were to get your hands on a foreign version of the game in your language and were able to use some kind of magical software that disguises your location to play the game, then you might be able to save some money. Alright, let's kick this section off by talking about the game settings. Hogwarts Legacy really knocks it out of the park here with all the options, only missing a few things like an FOV slider, which honestly is a requirement, devs. Why are you leaving this out? Bloom and blur effects, and strangely, it does lack a master volume, which I don't think we've ever seen before, but the game's audio is balanced well enough where it didn't really seem to matter that much. And overall, the controls were pretty good for PC, with controllers and mouse and keyboard. However, for some reason, controllers don't work in the main menu. So if you're using a controller, you're still gonna have to pick up your mouse and keyboard to get the game started, which is kind of annoying and really weird that the devs missed this. And overall, while we did love the combat, spell controls just feel clunky with 4 spells in the hotbar. It continuously forces you to switch spell bars to get all of your spells, and it's just too many steps for how little spells there are. It really adds unnecessary complexity to action that we actually love. Now, the POV for this game is great, and while it might get a little wonky in some areas due to the low FOV, we really didn't have an issue with it. However, it can be challenging to control while you're auto-targeting and whipping spells around yourself. For controller players, this is going to be particularly difficult, as it's much easier to control your view with a mouse. Hogwarts Legacy's UI is fantastic. With lots of well-thought-out systems and rewards for using it, you'll find yourself checking your gear, inventory, map, and quests constantly. Also, a nice bonus is checking the progress on your challenges and finding the rewards for hitting specific milestones. One thing we did find that was a little annoying for PC players, and is definitely a symptom of consolitis, is there doesn't seem to be any easy way to exit a menu with a single click of a button. For example, if I'm in the gear menu and I'm looking at my gloves, I'll have to hit escape 3 times just to back out and get back to the game, which feels a bit extra. Overall, Hogwarts Legacy has some great customization with some minor clunkiness on camera, UI, and controls. Hogwarts Legacy starts off by allowing you to link your Wizarding World Fan Club account, if you have one, a dedicated Harry Potter universe website where you can partake in some interactive surveys that assign your house, wand, and Patronus. Unfortunately, only your house is really going to matter here, and we're going to get to that in a minute. Next is character creation, where you can choose from a set of pre-made assets to piece together the next Lord Voldemort. Young wizard that is totally innocent and definitely will not become a murdering psychopath, but who has also bought the Dark Arts edition, so it might be a good day to skip class. Anyway, this is also when you start to get your first glimpse of one of the best things this game is going for it. It is one of the most diverse games ever made, even allowing you to make a character that is gender fluid. No matter how diverse your character is, however, all the faces look a little bit like Daniel Radcliffe for some reason.
Bill, look away. I'm hideous.
And huge call out here. When you're choosing your character's voice, don't choose the modulator, as it's going to permanently make your character sound synthetic, and honestly, this trash is going to definitely ruin your immersion as you listen to this for the next 30 fucking hours of gameplay.
That was quite something. I'm eager to get to Hogsmeade. A few cobwebs and some dust.
Honestly, they should not have even included this as a feature, and we recommend using the 2 preset voices as their actual real people. Okay, let's briefly paraphrase the storyline and avoid giving away any spoilers. Once your character is created, you start off as a young impressionable wizard being chaperoned by strange old men in bathrobes, and one looks suspiciously like Ben Mendelsohn. Their main goal is to get you into their car and take you to their secret lair, when all of a sudden you're ambushed by a dragon that destroys the flying coach, and you find yourself stranded with the Ben Mendelsohn looking guy, and you're forced to go to Hogwarts. Once you finally get to Hogwarts, you get a chance to put on the sorting hat, which promptly checks what house you wanted to be in on the Wizarding World website, and places you in that house. Unless, of course, you don't have an account like you're some kind of muggle, or you just don't want to be in that house. Then you can just choose whatever house you fucking want to, like Harry Potter's bitch ass did in the books. After that, you're introduced to characters that will force friendship onto you and make you do a litany of fetch quests, combat, and game-impacting decision-making to prove your worth, as well as attend magical classes that allow you to apply your laziness and automation to your daily chores. However, while everything is all peachy at Hogwarts, a dark and sinister plot is brewing outside with evil goblins and dark wizards as they mark you a little kid as their new main enemy and seek to murder you. The rest of the game is basically you trying to not get murdered while going to school, and while basically becoming a mass murderer, killing hundreds of poachers and goblins, delving into ancient ruins, and creating zoos in your thirst for ultimate power, or at least that's how I played it. All jokes aside, the game is full of rewarding, fun, and immersive content. This is the best single-player world we've been in a long time, and it's certainly the best Wizarding World game to date. And this game is not like the Harry Potter books. You are absolutely thrust into a kill or be killed situation, and you're gonna do a lot of killing. Speaking of killing, you know who's killing it? These voice actors. This is yet another high point of this game. While of course we have an A-list actor like Simon Pegg and icons like N. Rytel, we really want to highlight the excellent work of the newer actors. The leads Amelia Gething and Sebastian Croft really hit it out of the Quidditch arena, and there are excellent supporting roles filled by a group of upcoming stars like Asif Ali. In fact, the voice acting is so good that it draws attention to some of the poor facial animations. Outside of the voice acting, the audio is fantastic, and we found ourselves using audio cues regularly, whether it was in battle, dialogue, or lore prompts, or just listening to side adventure audio cues. And there were a few audio bugs to point out, specifically with the owls, as they do come in sporadically, and it can kind of overlap other things going on or cut out sound. The graphics are great for an open world game of this size, and the level of detail in and outside of Hogwarts is breathtaking. It's all immersive, from exploring Hogwarts and finding hidden chests, moving paintings, watching the ghosts and students interact, and stumbling into secrets. It all pulls you in. All this being said, we did find some significant FPS drops when exploring, even on the recommended settings on a high-end PC, and overall the optimization has its opportunities with some screen tearing and choppiness when there are too many moving parts on the screen and you're whisking around your wand, casting spells. Which brings us to lore. Unfortunately, the wand of Patronus you picked on the Wizarding World website mean nothing. While you're able to pick out your own wand, ultimately from a choice of core, wood type, and length, it means literally nothing to the actual game aside from aesthetics. So you can probably imagine my letdown when my 12.5-inch unicorn pube wand didn't make me more popular or improve my stats. It's all cosmetic, so all this unicorn bush I gathered may as well be for a merkin. On top of that, different brooms are just cosmetics, so your dreams of a Nimbus 3000 were foolish. There are no Patronus spells in Hogwarts Legacy at all, and there's no Quidditch. Also, you can't become a Dark Lord or a Death Eater, which really makes you wonder, why make a Harry Potter game at all? The answer to that is simple, because there's a ton they did include. From the sorting hat in school houses, to attending different classes and learning their spells, cats, all of the mysteries of Hogwarts, taming, breeding, and gathering unicorn pubes. From fantastic beasts, all of the secret rooms you can imagine and some you can't, dark wizards, goblins, house elves, dozens of unique puzzles. Did we mention cats? 57 rewarding and story-driven side quests, tons of collectibles, and a new fantastic Wizarding World story with multiple player-driven story endings, including a secret ending, and unlimited cats. We interrupt this program for a special report. Alright, let's talk stonks. The more cats you have, the more money you make, the better your game is. That's just science. Gameplay is another area where Avalanche really knocks it out of the park. The gameplay loop itself is very satisfying, from learning new spells, picking locks, taming fantastic beasts, and combat. It's not just incredibly immersive, it all feels impactful to your experience, and there are new additions to what we know about in the universe. The game introduces ancient magic, unique to your character. There's just such a great feeling to using that ancient magic against your normal spells. And curses? Whoa. Okay, the game certainly does not hesitate at showing you the horrors of what you're doing using those unforgivable curses.
Curses.
Other benefits here are that the gameplay is super addictive. It's actually hard to do the storyline because the second you walk out of class, you stumble upon a hidden section of Hogwarts, or you hear about like a new spell or plant. We've never been distracted by a living world more than in Hogwarts Legacy. The world building and addictive gameplay rival GTA and Skyrim, and it makes us feel like there's very little grindiness involved because everything feels like it has a purpose, a home, and it's rewarding. The one big opportunity we have for Avalanche here is that there is very low variation in enemy types in the game, consisting of only a handful of monsters and only a handful of goblin types and evil wizards, which sucks, but on the flip side, it may honestly be why this game feels so balanced. As far as challenge is concerned, we've also died multiple times on normal. There are a few spots where we actually died over and over and over, which was a nice touch because it forced us to min-max our gear and not just learn the spells, but really understand how they work. We'll also say that the final boss fight was not just one of the most challenging, but balanced fights that we've had in a really long time. It actually forced us to use something like 20 potions just to beat them. It was a really, really great fight. Now, spells themselves are broken into colors. Yellow are control spells, red are fire and damage, and purple are force spells. Gray are utility, and the green spells are unforgivable curses. These are really the best spells, honestly. Different enemies can have a yellow, a purple, or a red shield charm, denoting the color of spell you need to cast against that shield to break it. It's kind of like paint by numbers, but the numbers are trying to kill you, and you've only got 4 fucking spells in your spell bar. Unless, of course, you cast Ancient Magic or Dark Magic, which breaks the shield automatically. This leads to one of the annoying things about this game. The fact that you only get 4 spells per spell bar, which not just reeks of tonsillitis, but it incentivizes players to use dark arts to simplify game mechanics, which is great for the evil little bastard that I've created, but it's probably not ideal for all players. All this said, I love my curses, and I would not use them any less with 8 spells per bar. Let's talk about community and plan support. The Hogwarts community is massive and full of fun player experiences, feedback to the devs, and of course, most importantly, dank memes. I also found that the community is pretty helpful. When I asked about the elusive unicorns, there was an outpouring of support from people from all over jumping in to help. However, my follow-up questions around my quest to create a merkin out of unicorn pubes weren't as popular. Ultimately, though, I was able to make my merkin and finally set my servant house elf free. Okay, all jokes aside, while there's certainly controversy over the launch of Hogwarts, and for good reason, it seems that the direction of the development team has taken with this game has struck a resounding nerve with the gaming community in general and has ever-increasing support. Speaking of that support, let's talk about planned support, or maybe we should say the lack of planned support. As of right now, not only is there no clear roadmap, but the official word from game director Alan 2 is, we've been really heads down bringing Hogwarts Legacy to life, so at the moment there's no current plans for DLC. To which we say, fucking bullshit. We don't believe you, there's no way that's true. Not having extra content would be the biggest miss for a money grab since Firefly was cancelled. And a few things to note here. They did have a week 1 patch for PC gamers that fixed some optimization issues and forced some folks to reinstall some drivers. They also gave us an incredibly detailed view of not just the current bugs, but did what we strongly believe to be the standard for all devs. Transparency into open tickets that they have and their progress on them. Kudos to you, Avalanche. We applaud your transparency here. The only thing we can ding you on, of course, is going to be you don't include your patch notes on Steam. Devs, why are you all doing this? Please, you're doing great work out there. Let us see it. Anyways, for anyone that would like to submit a bug request to Avalanche or would like to see a full list of bugs, we'll have a link in the description below. Alright, let's wrap up this review and kick off our pros and cons. Starting with the pros. This is a highly immersive and eye-catching world with an engaging story and a plethora of content. The quality of sound, music, and voice acting is movie quality with an extremely high cool factor. It's also got fantastic stability. We had 0 crashes in over 50 hours of gameplay. Alright, let's kick off the cons. It's got poor optimization, and honestly, the game just needs a little bit more work there. It's also full of tonsillitis, and that's very heavily leaning on the system side, and it's missing some quintessential lore like Quidditch and Patronuses, and of course, low enemy variation that may or may not have made it a bit more balanced. Now, after we take all the good and bad in our experience, add in some industry data, and plug this into our 3,000-point system, let's see where our pricing model values Hogwarts Legacy. Drum roll, please. $69.17. Nice. Folks, Hogwarts Legacy delivers. This is an expertly crafted game with tons of replayability that would keep most gamers busy for weeks, if not months. It's an excellent value proposition at the base price of $60, and our value here makes the deluxe edition actually fall into the territory of an obvious pickup. But that being said, the content in the deluxe edition is certainly not worth $10. We do have a question for those that do own this game. Do you agree with this price? Also, what's your house and how big is your wand? Alright, let's finish this with our final thoughts. It's a superb game. We hope there's extra content coming soon and would love to see Quidditch and maybe Patronus spells or other quintessential Wizarding World ideas. Now, before we go, what's the most common user feedback? The game is the best Wizarding World game to date. We couldn't have said it better ourselves. And how does the game meet the hype? This game blows the hype out of the water. Likely a contender for Game of the Year. As always, thanks everyone for watching. If you liked the review or want to see more pricing reviews in the future, please hit that like and subscribe button. We've got Atomic Heart up next, and if you've got a new game coming out that you want to see us play, drop a comment. We'd love to hear from you. We'll see you next time on Entertainment Value.